Some countries impress through size, others through speed. This one speaks through precision. Mountains rise with structure, not chaos. Valleys open with intention. Villages rest exactly where land allows life to settle. Switzerland does not overwhelm. It reveals. A country built between high peaks and calm water, where roots follow natural lines, and human design works with the terrain, not against it. Here, movement feels measured, distances feel deliberate, and the land itself seems carefully arranged over thousands of years. This is Switzerland, a place where geography and design exist in steady balance. The journey begins. Switzerland is located at the center of Europe, yet feels removed from constant motion. Its borders enclose one of the most diverse landscapes within a relatively small area. The Alps dominate much of the country, forming natural barriers that divide regions, languages, and traditions. Between these mountains lie wide valleys, lakes formed by ancient glaciers, and plateaus that support towns and agriculture. This geography shaped Switzerland's history. Isolation encouraged independence, mountain passes controlled trade, and water routes became natural connectors between communities. Despite its rugged terrain, Switzerland developed an advanced transportation network. Railways cross mountain ranges. Roads pass through tunnels carved deep into rock. Ferries move steadily across lakes, linking towns along the shoreline. The result is a country where nature and engineering exist side by side, each enhancing the other. Cities remain compact, villages retain traditional layouts, and open land is carefully preserved. This balance has become a defining feature of Switzerland's identity. Before the journey continues deeper, a brief pause. If this calm beginning feels meaningful, a gentle subscribe helps support the journey and keeps these films alive. Now, the story unfolds. Travel across Switzerland often follows elevation. Lowlands give way to rolling hills. Hills rise into mountains. Mountains open suddenly into wide basins where towns and lakes appear. Each transition feels natural. Nothing arrives abruptly. The Alps stretch across the southern and eastern regions, forming some of the highest peaks in Europe. These mountains influence weather, travel, and settlement patterns. Yet Switzerland is not only alpine. Large areas consist of farmland, vineyards, and gentle plains. These regions support daily life while remaining closely connected to nearby mountain systems. Water plays a central role. Lakes occupy valleys once filled by glaciers. Rivers begin here and flow outward across Europe. Switzerland acts as a source, not only of rivers, but of roots, ideas, and careful design. The Swiss Alps, structure, height, and endurance. The Swiss Alps form the backbone of the country. They stretch across much of the southern region, creating a complex system of peaks, ridges, passes, and valleys that define Switzerland's physical and cultural boundaries. These mountains are not isolated formations. They exist as interconnected ranges, with natural corridors shaped by glaciers that once moved slowly through the terrain. Today, these valleys serve as routes for travel, settlement, and seasonal migration. The Alps influence nearly every aspect of life here, from architecture and agriculture to transportation and tourism. Villages are positioned where slopes soften and land allows stable construction. Pastures occupy high plateaus during warmer months, supporting long-standing alpine farming traditions. Higher elevations remain largely undeveloped, preserved as protected landscapes and national parks. This balance between use and protection has allowed Switzerland to maintain both accessibility and preservation within one of Europe's most demanding environments. High mountain passes, natural gateways. Mountain passes have played a critical role in Switzerland's history. Long before modern roads and tunnels, these routes allowed trade and communication between regions separated by steep terrain. Passes such as Gotthard and Simplon connected northern and southern Europe, making Switzerland a crossroads of movement despite its mountainous interior. Today, these same routes remain active, now supported by advanced engineering. Roads follow natural contours. Rail tunnels pass deep beneath the peaks. Travel through these areas reveals how closely modern infrastructure aligns with ancient geography. Movement remains deliberate, guided by elevation and terrain, rather than imposed upon it. Alpine valleys, spaces of settlement. Between high ridges, wide valleys open gradually. These valleys provide flat ground for towns, farming, and transport lines. They also act as gathering points where multiple routes converge. Rivers flow through these spaces, carrying water from melting snow toward larger lakes and downstream regions. Settlements here often retain compact layouts. Homes, churches, and public buildings are arranged closely together, reflecting a long tradition of efficiency in environments where land is limited. Seasonal movement remains part of life. Livestock are brought to higher pastures during summer months and return to lower ground as conditions change. This rhythm continues practices that have existed for centuries. Interlaken. Between two lakes, Interlaken sits on a narrow plain, positioned directly beneath high mountain ranges. Its location made it a natural gathering point for travelers moving through the region. Today it remains one of Switzerland's most visited towns. The surrounding landscape defines the settlement. Mountains rise on all sides, while open land allows views across the valley floor. Interlaken functions as a base for exploring nearby Alpine regions, connecting visitors to mountain railways, hiking routes, and elevated viewpoints. Despite its popularity, the town maintains a structured layout, with open green spaces and clear separation between residential areas and travel corridors. Its role reflects a broader Swiss approach, welcoming access while preserving order. Glacial origins. Many of Switzerland's lakes were formed by glacial movement thousands of years ago. As glaciers retreated, they left behind basins that filled naturally with water. Scenic railways, engineering through mountains. One of Switzerland's defining achievements is its railway system. Scenic train routes cross steep terrain using tunnels, bridges, and gradual inclines designed to move efficiently through challenging landscapes. Lines such as the Glacier Express and the Bernese Railway connect remote regions while offering uninterrupted views of valleys and mountain structures. These routes were built not only for tourism, but as essential transportation links between isolated communities. The design prioritizes safety, consistency, and long-term durability. Rail travel in Switzerland demonstrates how engineering can complement natural geography rather than compete with it. Rhythm of the mountains across the Alps. Life follows elevation. Higher regions remain quiet and open. Lower valleys support daily activity. Routes between them remain carefully managed. This layered structure, peaks, passes, valleys, lakes, creates a sense of order that feels intentional. Switzerland's mountains are not chaotic. They are arranged by time, shaped by ice, and maintained through careful planning. This rhythm continues to guide movement, settlement, and preservation across the country. Scenic rail lines, precision. Through the mountains, rail travel in Switzerland is more than transportation. It is a defining feature of the country's relationship with terrain. Rail lines move through mountains, across valleys, and along lake shores, with a level of planning shaped by necessity and refined by experience. Construction began in the 19th century, when engineers faced steep gradients, unstable rock, and long winters. Instead of avoiding the mountains, routes were designed to work within them. Tracks follow natural contours, maintaining gradual inclines that allow trains to move smoothly through high elevations. The Glacier Express connects central Switzerland to the eastern Alps, crossing hundreds of bridges and passing through numerous tunnels. The route links valleys that would otherwise remain isolated by terrain. Travel time is extended by design, allowing movement through the landscape without interruption. Villages appear briefly along the line, then recede as the train continues upward into open Alpine corridors. This railway represents one of Switzerland's most significant engineering achievements, a connection across difficult terrain built for permanence. The Bernese Line climbs steadily from lower elevations toward high mountain passes. Unlike many railways, large sections remain exposed, offering a direct relationship between track and surrounding terrain. This line is recognized internationally for both its engineering and its integration with the landscape. Rather than dominating the environment, the railway follows its shape, adapting to slopes, curves, and elevation changes. Rail travel here reflects a national approach, careful planning, measured speed, and long-term thinking. Traditional Alpine villages, settlement by design across Switzerland. Villages reflect their environment with clarity. Homes are built close together, often oriented to maximize stability on sloped ground. Roofs are designed for snow load. Materials are sourced locally. Wood, stone, and plaster remain common elements, not for nostalgia, but for practicality. Village centers usually contain a church, a gathering space, and access to surrounding farmland. Agricultural terraces extend outward, following the natural shape of the land. These systems prevent erosion and allow cultivation on otherwise steep terrain. Many Alpine villages operate seasonally, with activity increasing during warmer months when mountain routes are accessible. Despite modern access, these communities maintain traditional layouts and land use, preserving a connection between settlement and geography. Lucerne, central Switzerland's historic anchor, Lucerne sits at the edge of a large lake, where mountain routes converge before continuing south through the Alps. Its location made it a strategic center for trade and travel, connecting northern Europe with Alpine passes leading south. The city developed around this function, with fortified walls, covered bridges, and compact streets designed for both protection and movement. Today, Lucerne remains a cultural center, balancing preservation with modern infrastructure. The historic core sits close to the water, while newer districts expand outward along flatter terrain. Pedestrian routes follow the lakefront, providing access between neighborhoods and transportation hubs. Lucerne represents a midpoint, not only geographically but structurally, where alpine terrain transitions into more open regions. Lake Lucerne, waterways and valleys alike. Lucerne extends outward into several branching arms, each following a valley formed by glacial movement. These waterways create natural travel routes between towns and villages. Boat services operate regularly, offering steady movement across the lake's full length. Settlements along the shoreline reflect careful planning, with buildings positioned above flood zones and connected by road, rail, and water. The lake moderates climate in the region, supporting agriculture and allowing year-round habitation. Surrounding slopes rise quickly, creating a contrast between open water and steep land. This relationship between lake and mountain defines much of central Switzerland. Human scale within a mountain country, one of Switzerland's most notable qualities is its attention to scale. Cities remain compact. Infrastructure avoids excess. Open land is protected. Rather than expanding outward, development often focuses inward, improving efficiency, preserving access, and maintaining balance. This approach allows natural systems to remain visible and functional even near populated areas. Railways pass through villages. Hiking trails begin at town edges. Agriculture continues close to urban centers. The result is continuity between daily life and open landscape, between movement and stillness. Zurich, urban order. Within a natural frame, Zurich stands as Switzerland's largest city, yet its scale remains measured and deliberate. The city developed along a river corridor that provided early access to trade and transport. Over time, this location supported growth without overwhelming the surrounding landscape. Historic districts remain compact, with narrow streets, public squares, and buildings arranged for pedestrian movement. Modern development expands outward carefully, maintaining access to open land and water. Public transportation connects all areas efficiently. Trams, trains, and walking paths reduce reliance on cars, allowing the city to function without excessive congestion. Zurich's proximity to surrounding hills and lakes keeps nature within easy reach. Outdoor spaces remain integrated rather than separated from daily life. The city reflects Switzerland's broader planning philosophy: function first, clarity always, and restraint as a guiding principle. Bernese Oberland, high valleys, and early tourism south of central Switzerland lies the Bernese Oberland, a region defined by wide valleys and high mountain walls. This area played a significant role in the early development of Alpine tourism. Visitors were drawn to the dramatic terrain and the accessibility offered by early rail systems. Villages developed along valley floors, with agriculture forming the foundation of local life. Tourism expanded gradually, building upon existing settlements rather than replacing them. Hiking routes, mountain railways, and lookout points were introduced to allow access without large-scale disruption. The Bernese Oberland remains one of the most structured alpine regions, a place where tourism, farming, and conservation coexist. Large mountain systems frame the valleys, while open areas provide space for movement and settlement. This region demonstrates how Switzerland integrated visitors into its alpine environment without sacrificing long-term balance. Mountain transport systems. Access without overreach in areas where roads and railways cannot reach. Switzerland relies on cable transport systems. Cable cars, gondolas, and funiculars connect valley towns to higher elevations, with minimal ground disturbance. These systems are engineered to follow natural lines of ascent, reducing the need for large-scale construction. Stations are placed strategically, often near existing paths or settlements, ensuring accessibility while limiting expansion. Mountain transport plays a key role in both daily life and tourism, supporting farming, recreation, and regional connectivity. The presence of these systems illustrates Switzerland's approach to accessing challenging terrain, precise, efficient, and restrained. Agriculture and land management. Despite its mountainous landscape, Switzerland maintains productive agricultural systems. Farmland occupies valleys, plateaus, and carefully managed slopes. Terracing allows cultivation where flat land is limited. Farming practices emphasize sustainability, with strict regulations governing land use, animal welfare, and environmental protection. Seasonal grazing remains common in Alpine regions, supporting ecosystems shaped by long-term use. This agricultural presence reinforces the connection between people and land, ensuring open landscapes remain active rather than abandoned. Infrastructure as a reflection of geography. Across Switzerland, infrastructure mirrors the land it serves. Tunnels pass beneath peaks rather than cutting through them. Bridges cross valleys at points where terrain allows stability. Roads follow curves set by geography, avoiding unnecessary straight lines. This consistency reflects decades of planning focused on long-term resilience rather than short-term convenience. As a result, movement through the country feels intuitive, guided by the land itself. Protected landscapes. Preservation as policy. A significant portion of Switzerland is designated as protected land. National parks, nature reserves, and regulated alpine zones ensure long-term preservation of mountain ecosystems and open valleys. Development in these areas is limited by strict planning rules. Construction follows existing patterns. Trails remain clearly marked. Access is provided without overuse. This approach allows visitors to move through large areas of open land without disrupting natural processes. Protection here is not symbolic. It is practical, enforced, and deeply integrated into national policy. This long-term thinking ensures that landscapes remain functional, not only visually impressive. Water as structure, rivers, lakes, and supply. Switzerland is often described as the source of Europe's rivers. Major waterways begin here, flowing outward toward surrounding countries. This makes water management a critical national responsibility. Lakes serve as reservoirs, transport routes, and environmental stabilizers. River systems are monitored carefully, balancing flood control, energy production, and ecological health. Hydropower plays an important role, providing renewable energy through controlled use of elevation and water flow. This system reflects Switzerland's broader relationship with nature, use guided by restraint. A country built to last. Across the journey, a consistent principle emerges. Switzerland prioritizes durability. Infrastructure is built for decades, not rapid turnover. Settlements grow carefully, not quickly. Nature is used, but never exhausted. This mindset creates stability in cities, in villages, and across the landscape. Travel through Switzerland feels deliberate and calm because the country itself was shaped with patience. Switzerland does not rely on extremes to leave an impression. Its strength lies in balance, between height and openness, between movement and stillness, between access and protection. Every region contributes to a larger pattern, each part reinforcing the whole. The journey across mountains, lakes, railways, and cities reveals a country built not for spectacle, but for continuity, a place shaped slowly, maintained carefully, and experienced best at an unhurried pace. For more journeys told with this quiet focus, a simple subscribe helps support future films and keeps these stories moving forward. Thank you for traveling through Switzerland. The next destination is already waiting. The journey now moves into the heart of these landscapes.